So very good afternoon to you. Very quickly, I want to go through some of the key ideas of the Utrecht project description. And the idea of this project is that we use a phrase called corporate restructuring. Restructuring means there could be some independent companies functioning. And suddenly, they find the need to do some integration. We know that the business world is very competitive with, the companies compete, sometimes fight. But sometimes companies have no choice but to collaborate. The rawest, most example I can give you is that there is a company which makes ice cream. It finds that the price of cone, the cone which this kind of thing, is getting expensive. And then the company which manufactures these cones only, they are losing out in the business. So it could be possible that the company which is very flourishing, the ice cream making company, it can take over. It's good for them. Why it's good for them? Because now they don't have to purchase any inputs from anybody. It's like in-house manufacturing. The idea of corporate consolidation or restructuring is that, let me give you some equation, that there is a company, it has a value of A company. And then there's a value of B company. The name of the project is, of course, Utrecht is the name of the city, but the next word is consolidation. Means you merge, join, collaborate these companies. Put together. The idea is to put the two companies together so that the value of A plus B. What do you mean by A plus B? There were two companies, A and B, independent. We put them together. Now they're not A, not B, but they became A plus B. Is more than the sum of their individual values. Does it make sense? Just imagine that this company was 100 million and this company was 80 million. But when you put these two companies together, it must be more than 180. Even though it's against mathematics, but when you put these two companies together, their cooperation, their common facilities, shared labor force, shared manufacturing, fixed cost going down, a lot of transportation which used to happen unnecessarily is avoided. Shared management, by the way. Imagine if there is a common, if there is a consolidation between KLM and Finnair, there'll be no two boards of directors, there'll be one board of directors. And guess what happened then? The board of directors take a lot of money. You see the CEO salary? I bet you it's about, if it is Finnair, it has to be about 10 million plus euros a year. And if it is KLM, my hunch is that it's be about 15, 20 millions a year. So one salary saved. So definitely the value which you create with the combined entity is definitely more than their individual sum total. So if I put some rough number, let's say the combined value is 220. That is idea. Combined value. My random question to you is, first of all, we only consolidate if this equation holds. We never consolidate if the equation is either equal to or less than. So if the equation sign is either equal to or this thing is less than, we never do it. If it is equal to, then why do we do it? Because there is no value addition. So why are we going through all these processes? And if it is less than, it means that the combined entity's value would be lower than the sum of their individual entities. Do you think it's possible in any circumstance that the combined value, like value of A plus B together, is lower than value of A plus value of B? You think it's possible? Can the combined value, consolidated value, be lower? Why not? A company, very successful A company, have taken over company B, which is full of debt, full of litigation, full of frauds, they did some environmental damage, and now the court is paying them to pay the libels to people who suffered. Guess what will happen? The consolidated value, even the successful company would lose out in paying on behalf of the defaulting company B. So in that case, the consolidation process could be dangerous. So it's not always, it's not a panacea. It's not a kind of cure to all the financial diseases that you make, and you consolidate the companies and the problem would wither away. It never happened. If that is true, then we will have only one company in the world. So everyone is consolidating, combined. The big one is getting the small one, and the bigger one is getting the big one, and the biggest one is getting the bigger ones. It never happens. So therefore, not all the consolidation processes meet this condition. The idea is that if we combine Finnair and KLM, will the combined value be more than the sum total of their individual value? And it's not mathematical thing. It's like a narrative. It's like a statement. It's like something you do the analysis and you find out that when you communicate with your colleagues in Utrecht, you might come out with the solution when you find out that, what? We have found that if we combine these two companies, this is the situation. So therefore, no consolidation. You do your job, we do our job. Or you might come at a situation when you find that, yes, the combined value would be better. But the problem is that how we combine companies. The one form of combining the two companies is that we call it consolidation of equals. In the old times, the royal family would only marry their kids with another royal family in another country. You know the idea? Some French royals are marrying some British royals. What was the idea behind it? So that you could not only have the marriages of kids, but also consolidate your empire. So here, there is a marriage of equals. Equals means we call it merger nowadays. Have you heard this word, merger? M-E-R-G-E-R, merging together. The merger is often of equals. But there's also something called taking over. When Shiny has a company and I have a company, I'm asking Shiny, let's combine our companies. And she says, no, I want to keep my independent entity. And what I do, I'm a clever guy. What I do, I buy her shares. And one day she realizes that 51% shares are owned by me. She has to give up unwillingly. This is called takeover. So there are three possibilities. First of all, the first possibility you need to consider is that whether consolidation between KLM and Finnair is viable. Again, there's no one solution. It could be possible that at the end of the project, they people are pro consolidation, but you guys are anti-consolidation. And even if you agree on consolidation, then the next stage would be that, do you want to have a merger of equals like the royal family of France and Britain, or you want to take over? In the takeover, there is one party which is unwilling to give up itself. And the other party is more like very predatory, instinct, and it wants to take over. So usually the big company wants to take over. But I tell you very interesting news. In the reality, about 90% of takeovers, the takeover, unwillingness to give up yourself. The other company is very it follow this very, if I can use the phrase in political connotation, it's very imperialistic or very colonial company, occupying forces. You get my point? Even at the end of completion of this occupying process, nowadays, nobody openly says it's a takeover. What they say when they give the statement, when they have a press release in the media, in the Financial Times, in Bloomberg, in New York Times, what they say, it's a merger. Why? Because this predatory corporate behavior is looked down upon in the financial media. So even though 90% of these consolidations are actually not mergers, but takeovers, but they are labeled as mergers. This is the first point where politics come. I bet you these corporate leaders, they're far more intelligent and far more visionary than politicians, because they do these things day in, day out. Not every country thinks of attacking or defending itself on a daily basis. But the corporate leaders have to struggle with this question on a daily basis. One day the price goes down, one bad day, and by the evening, somebody has bought you without you know who bought you. So therefore, for them, this survival instinct is so deeply ingrained. So therefore, I hope you understand this equation. Yeah, it's fine. Good. So there is some story behind this. Because when I was discussing with Jan, when we started this project, actually I started this project with Franz Bowman, his senior, many years ago. We on purpose chose KLM and Finnair. We could have chosen two companies of equal size in Netherlands and in Finnair, right? But we chose these KLM and Finnair because, first of all, these are very popular companies in respective countries. And secondly, the size difference between KLM and Finnair is massive. KLM is much bigger than Finnair. But at the same time, Finnair is more operationally efficient. There are some destinations where Finnair is super popular. And Finnair is also popular because of its location, Helsinki. Helsinki is very close to Asia. And that's why it's my own experience whenever I travel to India. And the flight which I take from Helsinki to New Delhi, it's not just people who came from Finland who sit there. Actually, they come from Sweden, Germany, Netherlands, even Britain, which is full of Asian people. Even they like to travel by Finnair because of its servicing, because of its scheduling, and because of its location. So that there are certain things. Operationally, Finnair is fantastic company. Of course, there is a size thing, but that's not a big deal. Anyway, there is a backdrop of it. Now we don't have 5 teams, we have 4 teams. Young students will be negotiating, or I use the word competing because I was talking to a couple of students before the break that why I use the word competing, because if you look by the size, if you look by the sheer size, then obviously it's inconceivable that Finnair takes over KLM. But the reality is that in the past couple of seasons, we have, in the final negotiation, in the final presentation, we were successful in convincing the Utrecht people that KLM gives up and Finnair buys KLM, bids for KLM. And how it comes, this not just only come from the financial numbers, but it depends upon how you communicate these numbers, how you make interpretations, how you are convincing, how well you can argue when you have your final meeting with your counterparts in Utrecht. Two companies, Finnair and KLM, will be negotiating them. Whether the analysis includes the following: whether the merger between Finnair and KLM is possible, and of course, if you can't just say that yes, it's possible or not. Give some financial numbers to back up your arguments. Okay, give some evidence. And I would say that the two important set of study material which you should dig deep is that go back to management accounting and go through the section which we did called financial ratio analysis. Remember, in management accounting, in the financial ratio analysis, each of you took one company independently. Here you can share. Here there's no multiple companies. Here there's only one company. You need to do two companies analysis. You need to analyze your company, which is Finnair, and bring forward the good points. Show your strength. Pick up those ratios where Finnair is having strength, and then you do the analysis of KLM and spot out the weaknesses of KLM. Because you may also consider, like your predecessors, the students in the last years, who actually become so daring that they even are bidding for. Bidding means offering to buy KLM. Even though I don't force you that you do this way. If most of you come to the conclusion that it's a good idea that Finnair be bought by KLM, then of course it's fine. The second thing, the second academic part, the second set of theories which you'll be applying is valuation. And just to let you know that I have sent two videos, recorded video of last year, valuation part 1 and valuation part 2 already to you. Of course, if you just watch the videos, maybe things will go a little bit, it's difficult sometimes to comprehend. But of course, today in the financial management lesson, I will do some more slides. And if something is left over, we will do more discussion when we come back. When I come back, I'm traveling next week, and the week following, when I come back, I will discuss more about that. And then we will find out that is the combined entity, can you see that? Value of A plus B company here. Can you see that? Yeah. So we want to check that now is value of A plus value of value of A plus B together is more than value of A individually plus value of B individually. And this will come, this is more like a narrative, more like you need to create some statements for this. And then in the financial management lesson, you will also learn the risk part. Systematic risk, unsystematic risk, we shall study, yeah? So that will be also very useful to you. Some strategy issues, and then finally you make the results and then you present them. It's very simple thing. And in fact, you will learn more by yourself every week when you exchange your notes with your counterparts in Netherlands. That's why I'm saying that even though I don't want to be very interventionist in the project, But in case you have any confusion, you have some concerns, talk to me every time, every week when we meet for the track. I would reserve first 25 minutes, 20 minutes for the track thing. Yeah, the project thing. And if you have any questions, queries, you can ask me about the project as well. Okay. Even if you don't understand some conceptual things, don't feel shy. Ask me. Okay. There's no harm in admitting that I don't know. Okay, no problem. I'll explain to you. Sarah will do it. Tatiana will do it. Stefan will do it. We can make some small groups, and you can be guided about this. Why not? Yeah. Here I just wrote for the sake of writing that the students who are studying financial management, somewhat global financial management, and the track and management accounting. If I have to miss one thing from here, I would miss global financial management because we're not using too much into it. But next semester, when we will do Coventry, we also do the similar project with Coventry University in Britain, in West Midlands. Then that project is 145% based on this course. So these projects are designed in a way that they are touching upon your academic knowledge as well. So next semester, remember, you need one project, which is called academic track project, right? I can count Utrecht for this, but you might use some extra project, which can also come into your field. You know, if you look at your PLP, there is something called specialization. So it can easily fit, this Coventry project can fit into your specialization as well. Learning objective, why should I explain it? You know it. So now the start of the project is today, and the first assignment deadline is 20th of September. And what is the assignment? You just need to get some, if you just Google airline industry, or the future of airline industry, or the challenges of airline industry. So you don't have to talk too much yet about Finnair and KLM, but you need to talk more in general. What is the corporate environment of airline industry existingly, and what you see the short-term future, the next, the immediate future. And I'm sure that shouldn't be a problem. If you go to investing.com, Yahoo Finance, if you check Bloomberg, right, Wall Street Journal, all these are available online, and you can check. And if you come across any problem, of course, you can ask me. Which are the major players in Europe, because both companies are European. So I would say that bring some European perspective, that what is the standing, what is the competitive standing of KLM and Finnair in the market. Size-wise, KLM is bigger. But when you make a relative comparison, when you see the ratios, when you have more size adjusted or size neutral comparison, what is the situation? I would say that if I go to Yahoo Finance, you can check some ratios there, okay? But I don't want to brainwash you too much. I just want that you guys should do things by yourself, okay? But if I were you, what I will do at least, what would I do? Yahoo Finance. Am I sharing the screen with you? Is it getting shared? Yeah? Huh? No. Okay, I'll do it, no problem. So if I check, for example, Finnair, sorry. Yeah, maybe chart. if I want to see last 1 year, for example, how Finnair has been doing in the stock market. I'm just making the stock market comparison. Yeah, it's fine. Remember, look, I teach many courses in YAMK, but when I teach in the track meetings, it's more like a family, people who are, because you chose to make career in finance. So you are super, super, super special to me. So one thing should be agreed between us, me and you people, that if you have a slightest bit of problem in understanding anything, you will say it loud and clear to me without any hesitation, without being judged or anything. Even if you don't know the word stock, ask me, Shab, I never heard about the word stock. I'll let you know what it is. But there should be no communication gap between us. So the stock market, the share prices. So in the last 1 year, this is how Finnair have been doing. And you can see that it's not a very good situation. It's not a very good situation when it comes to Finnair in the stock market. And if I want to make it, look, there's this thing called comparison. Can you see here? It's very important that you learn that there's a comparison here. And if in the comparison, I put KLM, yeah, Air France KLM. See? So when I didn't draw the picture of KLM, things about Finnair were looking very ugly. But now when I draw the graph of KLM, it looks that Finnair is not too bad. So what conclusion you draw from here? That I was telling you that the last few years are not very good for airline industry. It's proved. The two major carriers, flight carrier of Europe, the stock market is plummeting. But comparatively, sometimes you choose the best among the betters, and sometimes you choose the least worst among the worst. So if you have to say which company overperforms, well, aviation industry is going down. But if you want to pick up between the two, which company overperforms than the other, I would say that Finnair is doing better. This is a very good argument for you in the stock market when you are putting your case forward that, hey, no matter you are a very big company, but look at how we are braving the crisis. Look at your stock price and look at our stock price. And the beauty of Yahoo Finance is that you can change time. So I took 1 year, and in the first part, things were neck to neck. In fact, there was a March till May this year when KLM was better than, but since then Finnair seems to be stable, but KLM has lost a lot in just before the month of June. And the beauty of this thing is that if you play and if you want to have more data, you click 2 year, you can even do better. So that even if you make a 2 year analysis, so when you exchange your notes with your counterparts, right? You can take screenshots and write down the source, exactly URL, because if they want to verify, they can. Yeah, nothing stops them. So every time you get some information, use the reference and full. If it is a web references, then you take the full URL, share with them and say, look, what are you talking? You want to buy us? Come on, you have survival issue. We can save you. Even though Finnair's stock price is down, but at least it's stable. It doesn't go worse. But look at what you are doing. You've been going constantly down. How many times your stock lost? Massive loss. So I mean, these kind of arguments you can create. So that could be a good starting point for you to discuss. Look, once again, I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to damage your creativity. But I think these small graphs, these visuals, these pictures, some web source coming from Wall Street Journal, coming from Yahoo Finance, coming from Reuters, for example. You know, the Reuters is a fantastic database. Who else I said? Bloomberg, yeah? So if you use them, you get the information. Or even if you just go with a very simple way, airline industry, problems, challenges, growth, future, prospects, you will have lots of information. Make sense? Okay. So that is the first week. Look, don't worry too much about this thing. 10, 15 slides. If you are able to explain your ideas, even in 3 or 4 slides, thoroughly, it's okay, no problem. But to me, it seems that even if I prepare slides very miserly, some screenshots, some thoughts, some views, couple of references, I think I even at the bare minimum, I would have about 6 to 7 slides. Yeah, make sense? So that you need to do, and that you should share with your colleagues. I think by 20th, you're a group of at least 3 to 4 people, I guess, right? So before having collaboration with your colleagues in Utrecht, I would say that you should also have cooperation. Remember, it's a group task. Not, I don't expect. Look, I think I was telling the students very important thing before we went. If this were a management accounting course, for example, and these are different tasks, task 1, task 2, task 3, I would assume that everybody knows everything. There I need jack of all trades. But in this project, you become the master of trade. So if there are 4 people in the group, one is much more expert in doing accounting data calculations, for example, return on assets, earnings per share, everything you do in the management accounting. But the other guy is more efficient in looking at the stock markets, and how the other person is good at writing the draft, good English. The other person is more like trading some kind of from strategy point of view, whatever point of view. So you can split your work. You can do the proper division of labor. So here, sorry, I think I'm not feeling so well. I have some sore throat, but nothing. I'm not having COVID. So you can create this kind of activities. And then your week 2 will begin with your feedback. And then the week 2 starts from 20th of September and it finishes on 27th. Likewise. Sorry, just take a break. Just bring some water.